Hear me okay?
Can hear you fine, yeah, nice and clear. Good. So, Jamie, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
You're looking very, I don't know, you look kind of Californian or something.
Well, actually, it's funny because we've got this big window in the bathroom, and it's like in a bit of an odd position in the house. And I thought, well, it looks really nice there, so I'll just set up there. So I've just
it's good. It looks like almost looks like you're in a tube station or something.
Yeah.
Don't mind if I smoke.
No. Yeah, got my lovely Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I got me coffee.
Nice.
Got everything.
Coffee and a fag.
Yeah. Where are you then? Where do you live?
London.
What part?
Tottenham.
Are you a Tottenham boy?
Am I? Fuck no. Nah. Coventry originally. Yeah. Shithole.
I've only ever been to Coventry fleetingly in the night to play a gig.
Oh right, yeah.
Never actually walked around Coventry.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
Is it?
Yeah. There's one little nice pub.
How does it compare to, say, Birmingham?
It's rougher than Birmingham, I think. Yeah. Well, actually, I've lived here for a long time, so I've not been back to Cov for a while, so it might have changed. But
your accent's not very strong.
Yeah.
I can sort of just get a tone of it, but
yeah,
you've become a Londoner.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, well, I've lived here for 20-something years now.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So, I've not really had many drummers, so I'm very glad to have a drummer representing the drummer.
Yeah.
Would I be right in thinking that because drummers are kind of labelled, you know, there's always the jokes about the drummer and
yeah.
I think it's unfair, really, because most of the drummers I've played with have been very intelligent people.
Yeah, well, it's funny actually because when I was playing with the subs, we were touring with the Vibrators, and we went out for dinner one night, and it was kind of me and Eddie left in this restaurant, and both drummers, and the waiter was like, "Oh, you guys look like musicians," and we said, "Yeah," and he said, "What do you play?" And we said, "Well, we're both drummers," and then he cracked one of the the stereotypical old school drummer jokes, what you call a drummer without a girlfriend, homeless or whatever. And then Eddie said to him, Eddie went, "Do you play?" And he went, "Yeah, I'm a guitar player." And Eddie went, "Well, do you know the difference between a drummer and a gynecologist?" And the guy went, "No." And Eddie went, "A gynecologist only has to play with one cunt at a time." Which is still to this day the only pro drummer joke I know.
yeah. I know the one about the light bulb.
Is
that a drummer joke? How many? Oh, fuck it. Anyway, I found that isn't the case. But I've also found that drummers that I assumed to be a bit stereotyped, sort of thick drummer, have often not been the case at all, even though they might come across a bit like that. And I think I'm always surprised that they seem also a little bit insecure. Would I be right? I'm trying to analyze drummers here. That's nothing to do with insecurity, you don't think?
No, because I mean, I started doing a podcast a few years ago. It was called Noisy Bastards, and it was like just drummers. And the first episode I think I had, it was Von from Die Totenhosen, Danny Farron from the Buzzcocks, and Robin Guy, who passed away recently. And then I had the next one was Brandon from Rancid, and Pinch from The Damned, and Roy Mayorga from Soulfly, and we just it was just a right stuff, everyone was just getting stuck in. So
I'll take that back. I mean, maybe it's just the drummers I've spoken to seem a bit reticent. Did you know the Buzzcocks around the 2011 time when Tony Barber? Do you know Tony Barber?
Yeah, I know Tony. Yeah.
All right, he's a good mate of mine.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty good drummer too.
Yeah,
he plays drums too as well as bass.
Yeah, I almost played one gig for the Buzzcocks years ago because Danny and his wife were just about to have a baby, and Danny sort of said, "Oh, would you mind filling in for this gig?" And then the venue burnt down apparently, so the gig got cancelled.
Shit. Tony does quite a lot of. He's been doing some drums for me, sort of remotely from the States.
Yeah.
And it seems to be, and I've worked with a couple of drummers like that lately. Have you found a lot of it's going that way a lot for recording?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm doing as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a few jobs. I think in December and January, I recorded like 26 songs, I think it was, for different people.
Do you find that easy?
Yeah, piece of piss. I mean, I'm really quick at learning songs anyway. So like a lot of the time when I've jumped in last minute for bands, it's literally been like 24 hours sort of thing, learned the whole set and gone and done it. Yeah.
Do you find like if you're rehearsing a track with a band, but when compared to sitting at home or in the studio with headphones on playing along, do you get into the groove in the same way that you would if the band were all there?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I sort of when I'm tracking, at least I know that I get pissed off with myself, because I like to play it all perfectly, and I don't like going in and editing later on. So as soon as I've made a tiny little mistake that I could probably manage with, then I stop and I'm like, fuck, throw my sticks about and everything. But yeah, I don't know when it. I mean, I love drumming, so I just kind of get into it how I get into it, and if there's a band there playing with me, then that's cool as well, sort of thing. Yeah,
because because obviously the concept seems a bit weird playing, like especially with people very far away.
Yeah.
But I found that actually the finished product is pretty much what you would get had you rehearsed it and
exactly, yeah,
together.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get people just sending me a guitar, that's like just a single guitar track. Sometimes they send me full demos. Sometimes they send me demos without drums, or most of the time it's programmed drums that are done in the bedroom or whatever. Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
How much do you charge?
Well, at the minute I'm charging 150 a track, 150 pounds a track.
All right.
Yeah, which is
cool.
all right.
And you're staying plenty busy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing one tonight. I'm starting. Well, I've just finished one, and I'm starting one tonight as well. So it's kind of trickling in.
Good.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that's all right.
I've got to ask this, but Jamie Oliver, the TV chef. Do you get really pissed off that he exists?
No, it's really funny actually, because we got basically he's a drummer as well.
He's a drummer as well, yeah.
Yeah, and the bass player from the Lost Prophets was called Jamie Oliver as well, right? And I play guitar. Yeah. I play guitar as well, and then I sold a skydiving helmet to a guy called Jamie Oliver as well, and apparently he's a singer. So we could have a band of Jamie Olivers.
Fucking hell, yeah, you should. It's quite fortunate that it wasn't the singer in the Lost Prophets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you cook?
It's not. Yeah, not to the same standard. No. I cook as well as he plays drums, I think.
Right. Okay. Let's just process that. Okay. Right. I've actually not heard him play drums, so
yeah, it's pretty basic.
All right. Clem Burke, what's your connection with Clem?
So they had a project called the Clem Burke Drumming Project, and it's basically to monitor the physiological responses of when you're playing drums, what happens to your body and what you put yourself through. So I went to the University of Chichester, and they put me in a chamber, and they heated it up to something like 37 degrees or something, and they put it at 70% humidity, and I had to play a set of hardcore punk for an hour, and and I had to swallow a radio transmitting thermometer and everything that sends a little signal every few seconds, this little pack. So I couldn't have a drink. I couldn't drink any water because it would affect the reading. So I was just like full on in the heat, just like smashing it out and almost dying. And yeah, in an hour I lost 2% of my body weight from sweat loss.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose of that? Clem, by the way, it's really sad to hear about Clem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I never met him. Never like I didn't know him, But yeah, really shit that.
Good drummer. He played with the Eurythmics after Blondie.
Yeah.
And I knew their manager, who was also kind of helping me a bit, and and I was trying to. I didn't know that he knew that Clem Burke was playing with the Eurythmics, who he'd just taken on, and I was trying to impress him about my band. And I said, yeah, because I heard Clem Burke was playing with various people, and I thought, oh, I might get him in. So in my head, I thought, well, I'll just tell Lloyd Beanie that, yeah, and Clem Burke's playing drums with me on this new project. And he goes, oh, really? Clem didn't mention that. And then did I say Clem Burke? I mean, Clive Burke, lives in Norwich. But
yeah, it's funny when things like that happen, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful when you're name dropping.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, it was sad to hear about that. There seems to be every week there's someone else that's died,
Yeah, well, it's the time, isn't it? These are all our sort of heroes from back in the day, sort of thing, and everyone's at that age now, aren't they? So
yeah, you look pretty young. How old are you?
I'm 40.
All right, you are. You're a kid.
Yeah. Whippersnapper.
Are you finding that I'm freezing at all?
Every now and again, yeah.
I think I'm not sure it always comes out like that. I think it comes out okay. So yeah. I mean, here it's fine, pretty much. Yeah. Just half a second every now and again. So I wanted to find out, because I never really knew the story of why you left the Subs. How?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So basically, when we went into lockdown and everything, and I put a thing up on Facebook when David Amos, the Tory politician, got stabbed, and I said, I just saw that the guy who got ripped on Brass Eye, which he did, he was on Brass Eye, got stabbed, and I didn't realize he died, and I said one down. Meaning the Tories, which, because I fucking hate the Tories. I think they're scum. And then suddenly you got all these right wingers like going mental on Facebook, fucking and all this. And then the next day, Alvin called me and he was like going, oh, like people are kicking off and there's someone threatening to come down and beat the band up and everything. And, we don't know if we can use you anymore. And I was like, right. But then the next day we were supposed to be going to France. And I said to Alvin, well, you do realize that, it's all these right wingers and everything that are fucking kicking off. And he was like, and he said, yeah, well, we're just worried that it is going to kick off. And I said, well, if you're worried about it here, why aren't you worried about it in France? The Front National are the second biggest political party in the country. So, and I thought that would like be a sort of thing to make him go, oh yeah, well, I thought he'd kind of go, oh yeah, all right then. Well, we're obviously not going to cancel these gigs. And then he's like, oh fuck, I didn't think of that. And then he's just like, right, we can't use you, sort of thing,
I mean, it just seems like a very flimsy excuse to me. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like if you know me and you've known me for a long time, people know I'm a fucking nightmare sometimes. Like going on tour, getting pissed, partying, all the rest of it. I've been pretty wild over the years, but on the other side of it, there's like I was still the guy that sort of built and maintained the website. I would still get things happening for the band, still doing the videos and all that sort of shit. So I still had my shit somewhat together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I just thought it was fucking piss weak and pathetic, to be honest. But
it's not. I mean, were you mates? I mean, was there any?
Yeah. I mean, they were like my family, so.
Because that's not a very matey thing to do, is it? You stand by.
No, well, ultimately, I think they shit their pants. Is what it came down to, and it came down, and it was one guy who called Charlie and was basically stirring the shit, and and was saying, oh, my mates are coming down and threatening to kick off and that, and then I saw him the next week, and I was like, well, who the fuck are your mates then? And then he didn't say anything, you know, he couldn't give me an answer. He pointed to some like 70-year-old geezer, you know, and I was like, what are you? You got a problem? He was like, oh, I don't know. You know, so it's just ridiculous. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was far worse comments than that being made at the time about that Tory MP. And
I know.
That's what it's like on social media. You don't take it seriously. I mean, the amount of death threats that people supposedly get all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, the subs were kind of painting it out to be like this massive threat, you know, but it was just one guy really said something that they took as being serious, but this guy's a notorious shit stirrer. So
I find it really bizarre because I can't imagine doing that with the drummer, even if he said something much worse than that. I wouldn't sort of, and especially not before some gigs and all of that. And
yeah, I didn't even think it was like a big fucking deal. You know what I mean? It was like, it was just like,
to be honest, it sounded to me, because I couldn't get my head around it at all. It sounded more to me as though this is a convenient excuse to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah. You know, probably like the straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing, maybe. But yeah. But oh well, you know, like I'm happy.
Do you regret that?
No, I don't know.
Good.
I mean, you know, my only regret is that I didn't fucking my regret is that I apologized for it and took it down. That's what, you know, because as soon as I did that, it made it 10 times worse. It was like, you know, I was like, I apologized, and then I was like, you know, people were like, yeah, you did, yeah, you know what I mean? And it was like fucking hell, like I've done everything anybody wanted, and then still getting fucking shit for it, you know. So, and the thing is as well, like, it wasn't even about the guy himself, you know, it was about the Tories as a political group, you know what I mean? Like it was, I'm sure the guy was a very nice guy, didn't deserve what he got and everything, but the Tories are fucking cunts.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's people say that sort of stuff all the time now. Yeah, probably.
I know,
but it's what goes on.
You know, people going, "Oh, the only good Tories are dead Tory," and like all this sort of shit and everything. You know, if you, it seems like it's all right to say it as long as you put it in the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the problem with social media and saying things like a fucking throwaway comment that if you'd had said that down the pub with your mates,
yeah, exactly,
laughs, and that's that. But because it's the nature of social media, it everybody seems to want this voice now to say, "Oh, that's terrible," or "Oh, look how moral I am," by saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like when we played that gig in where was it, Ashton-under-Lyne, with that band Pressure 28, and there was someone saying, "Oh, the UK subs are playing with a Nazi band tonight," and I put a thing on there saying, "Look, you know, we don't choose a sport band. Sure as shit, we wouldn't choose a Nazi band." But it hasn't been demonstrated to us that they're a Nazi band in the first place. And even if it turned out they were after the fact, I wouldn't want to cancel the gig anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, putting that on social media, like people are going, oh, so you're okay with playing Nazi bands? And I'm like, no, that's not what I said. You know what I mean? And then again, another little shit stir, like started going around people's things and going, oh, look, the drummers from UK subs has just said this. And then of course, everyone sort of piled onto the thing and then couldn't see what I said, you know, well, actually, they couldn't see what he said I said. And then they're like, oh, well, he must have deleted it then. And I didn't delete anything. You know what I mean? So again, I got in fucking shit from that as well, just because people jumped in and fucking, you know, wanted to chuck their little 2 cents in.
It's scary. It's like the social media, the internet is like a great big mind, you know, that any
cesspool.
A cesspool mind, but any thought, you know, and people will just, if they don't like something, instead of just thinking, I don't like that, and just carrying on with what you're doing, you know, you put it down, and then you get embroiled in this fucking to and fro, and it gets more hateful and more fucking.
Yeah, well, it gives time. Being in text, it gives people time to pick apart everything that you're saying, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, but it's kind of, in a way, I see what the addiction is to it, you know. But I can also see the futility in it, and you know, when I find myself getting involved in anything, comments and shit, I try to get out. I think, why the fuck did I say that, you know? Because I always imagine everybody is sensible and you know, not fucking just looking for a fight but they are, you know, basically everybody.
Yeah. You know, and then you see in like the subs has got kicked out of America, and then in the Guardian it's going, the subs have never been a band to, you know, care about making political statements. It's like, fuck off. Bollocks. So yeah,
It's funny,
I must admit though, I did chuckle when they got.
It's a surprise that he didn't blame you for them not being allowed.
Yeah.
Being allowed in.
Yeah, so Alvin posted going, "Oh, I wonder if my comments on Facebook have influenced it or something." It's like, fucking hell. Yeah.
I love the way
Donald Trump's really like following you on Facebook.
He's really up on the UK subs world, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But, I mean, because I think basically, if you're a musician going to play in the United States, it's a fucking hassle, drag, and problematic to get a working visa there. That's the way it's always been. It doesn't matter what president it's been.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like,
I had a 2-week tour planned back in 2017, which was just after Trump came in, and it had to be cancelled at the last minute because my visa didn't come through, and everyone said, "Oh, that's Trump administration," blah blah blah. But it's happened at other times. I mean, I think it's too easy to say. I could have said then, "Oh, maybe my comments about Trump had put me on a blacklist as though I'm so fucking important that they're rather than they're just immigration is cuntish." You know, a lot of musicians will go and play without any visa and just hope they don't get stopped.
Well, that's what we always did. You know, not once did we have a work permit to go out there. You know. Yeah.
But
which is what I thought was funny this time. It's like, oh, apparently I didn't have the right visa. And
right. Yeah, because that's the thing. If they check up, you know, they've got you there, and they see your name, and they see you've got something to do with the band, and they'll check out your band, and they'll see where you're playing, and they'll think that's a coincidence you're playing in New York tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah.
On a day, and they can just put you back on a plane, and that fucking scares the shit out of me, having to travel all that way. To go all that way back, I think I'd.
Yeah, what sucks is even if you're not getting paid for the gigs and stuff, it's like, you know.
Yeah, but it's mad. I mean, the whole rigmarole that I went through, and I did it properly, and I got some good New York lawyers on it, and the festival paid much more for that sorting that than they paying me.
Yeah.
Testimonies from some famous rock stars in the States, and it looked fucking brilliant. I thought, wow, this is great, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't famous enough, said the guy in the UK, and didn't stamp it, and so that was the end of that. But
yeah, sure.
I kind of, whenever those sort of things happen, I always imagine I might have died on a bus crash or something, and so I'm lucky that didn't happen.
Oh man, that brings back memories when I was touring with SNFU and we played in Canada. We're driving down the motorway and there was like this massive car accident in front of us, and we jumped out. It literally happened like two cars in front of us, and we jumped out to try and help. And there was this old couple just like smashed to bits and blood everywhere.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was pretty grim. And then and we sort of like they were dead, and it was just blood everywhere. And then we got back in the van and sort of drove down the motorway for the next like 15 minutes. Nobody said anything. And then someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, first thing anyone said, it was like, actually, all that blood's made me hungry. Can we stop for a burger? We just.
They were lucky they weren't chucked out of the band for that.
Yeah, I know.
Did Wobble used to manage you?
Joel Wobble used to co-manage Dragster, who I played with when I was like 18.
That was the band before the Subs.
Yeah. We went on tour with the Subs and Sham 69 when I was 18, and that's how I got into Subs actually.
How did Wobble? What was his connection to that?
He was co-managing with I can't even remember who it was with. Someone else. He was co-managing the band, but I don't know him.
Was that before you joined that he was co-managing?
Yeah, I mean it was sort of before and during, but I didn't really have anything to do with him.
Right. I'm just wondering because I wondered. I'd never heard of Wobble being into managing before.
Yeah,
what year was that? When was that?
2003.
Oh, right. So
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah. But yeah, there was. I think he was co-managing. I think the company was called Scruffy Bird or something. Or maybe he did it before them and they moved. I can't remember anyway. But yeah, it was nothing to do with me.
What do you find of the kind of the state of the music scene as it is, live music scene in the UK?
In terms of what?
In terms of, I find it a little bit weird. Like when I first started going to gigs as a kid, and through the years, there seemed to be a sense of excitement that is missing now. And even for sold out shows by popular bands, the audience always seems pretty static, and
everyone's fucking old.
And yeah, I suppose that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
Like the thing is, there's other scenes that aren't our scene that are exciting and fresh and to other people, to younger people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fucking, what's the guy's name? Oh,
have you heard of a band called the Struts? Yeah, I went to see them not so long ago, and I was amazed actually at their fucking crazy audience. Like proper.
Yeah.
What you want at a rock gig audience. And,
wicked.
And I never realized how big they were either, or how popular they were. And they got some great
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And they were together here for a long time before they signed their US deal. And I think that the US market is where they've kind of caned it. But then again, over here now they sold out the this place in Kentish Town Forum. Packed, and they were just crazy for them. I thought, fucking hell, this is more like it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Are there any bands that you like that are around at the moment?
To be honest, I've been so busy lately. I've not really been checking much new stuff out. But today I was listening to a band called School Drugs, sort of like 80s hardcore kind of stuff. They got a new single out, came out last year. I'm not sure when exactly, but I don't know. I'm sort of firmly in my kind of Bronx sort of thing, Quell Attack, I don't know.
What sort of music did you first get into? What's your?
Oh man, I've always kind of been a bit eclectic, but I remember the first time I heard, like when I was starting to play the drums, my mates were putting a band together, and I was like, so what kind of music then? And they said punk, and I'd never listened to punk before, and I was just like, okay, all right. So then I listened to the Sex Pistols, and it was just like, what the fuck is this, But before that, it was just rock. I listened to a bit of hip hop, a little bit when I was really young. I mean, my first ever record I ever bought with my pocket money was the Wombles.
That was you were a bit late for the Wombles, weren't you?
No.
They've got a good band though.
Yeah.
I hear they're reforming soon. What do you think about that? About bands reforming? It's become a kind of really accepted thing now, isn't it? Rather than
I mean, I've got no problem with it. Relive that excitement and do it better.
Yeah, I suppose people seem to enjoy it, don't they?
Yeah.
There's something about a trombone that I'd heard about, you stealing a trombone. We've got something in common in that I'm always interested in people that have stolen another musical instrument, because me and my brother, we nicked 3 guitars and from our local shop.
Right.
You stealing a trombone from school, I believe it was. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was sort of. Well, the thing is, it was one of those things. Like, it wasn't like. So I wanted to learn the trombone at one point, and I started learning, and then it wasn't for me, and then I just didn't take it back.
That's a very strange instrument suddenly want to start learning.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, my brain works kind of weird like that sometimes.
You play other instruments, don't you? You play,
Yeah, drums, drums and guitar, yeah.
Which do you prefer? Drums, I take it.
Drums, yeah. It's the most romantic instrument. So, you know.
If you were paid £1 million to give up drums just to play guitar, would you?
Nah, never. Nah, because the drums. I think I don't know. Nah, I wouldn't, definitely.
I'd give up everything for £1 million, right?
Would you? £1 million quid? Is that it?
Probably not.
Sell out.
5 million, maybe. But
nah, nothing's worth that much to me.
And if you had to cut off your little finger or your little toe, which one would it be?
Oh, little toe.
Yeah, useless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You never stop and think, thank God I've got a little toe.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, it would be the little toe, obviously.
Yeah.
It would have to be. But if you were in prison, right? If you'd just been sent to jail for 10 years and you were fucking hating it, sharing a cell with some guy sleeping in the bunk up there and in bucket and all of that sort of thing. And if someone came in and they said, okay, look, you can get out of this, Jamie, if you do one of these 3 things. And these 3 things, you've either got to strangle a puppy, wank off a guard,
all right,
okay, or eat a shit sandwich. Which one would you choose to get out of jail?
Whose shit is it?
It's the guy in the bunk upstairs.
Oh, I think I'd rather do my time.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, you would do your time?
I mean,
John McKay chose the prison guard, which I think is actually.
I don't know, man. I mean, do you get condiments with this sandwich?
Yeah, you can put as much ketchup and salt and pepper.
Oh, I'll go for that then.
I mean, you'd only be ill for about 6 months in the hospital. You'd be in a nice hospital out of jail.
Yeah.
Very good. Good to know that. You seem like quite a healthy guy. Do you keep
yeah, well, I stopped drinking about a month ago now. Knocked all the drinking drugs on the head and everything.
Right. How are you finding that? How are you finding no drinking? I gave up drinking a while ago, and I found it great.
Easy. Like, I found it so easy. Like, I don't want to talk too soon because it's only been a month, but like so far, I've had no cravings of, the only real one was we were with Anthony. We went to Spain, and a bunch of my mates were there. I hadn't seen in a while, and they were, getting on it, but I stayed off the booze and that, and since then.
How heavily were you drinking? Heavily or just regularly?
Well, I mean, it was when I was touring, it was like every day. Even if we were on tour for like 2 months, 2.5 months or whatever, I'd be drinking every day, like getting properly pissed every day. And then it tend to be like I'd get back and then I'd have like a few weeks off, but I'd have a load of money in my pocket, and then I would just go down the pub and hang out with my mates and get pissed every day again, Yeah. And so it was quite a lot. But then lately, the last year or so, sort of like cut my drinking down. But then when I did drink, I was drinking in the same way. Do you know what I mean? That kind of binge drink of alcoholic style, chucking them down my neck and blacking out and all this sort of shit and doing stupid shit and saying things I don't mean. And
I think drinking in moderation, just seems really fucking boring to me. I also find it quite difficult as well, because once you've had that first pint or first drink, you kind of want the drink there always, don't you, for the rest of the duration of whatever the night is you're on. And
that's it. Yeah.
You don't want to kind of, and so it's very difficult to stop once you've started. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
I found just stopping it and not doing it I found just to be so easy. The first night was a little bit kind of melancholy, sort of still a bit hungover from the night before. But then the great thing about waking up and feeling great, I'm thinking, fucking hell, I didn't drink yesterday. And then you want to continue it. Well, I've wanted to continue it for quite a few years now. But going on the road is suddenly more tricky because you know what it gets like. You get fucking tired and and all that kind of shit. And
cabin fever
But that I found that not to be that difficult, you know. But there are times when I think I could really fucking cane it right now. Do you go to any meetings, or are you just doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I joined the Smart Recovery one. Just which there's one in about an hour and a half actually. But just to sort of I don't feel like I need to do it, but I want to have those kind of systems in place. Do you know what I mean? So if I do have the kind of urge, then I've got ways to kind of manage it without just.
I think it's a really good thing to do. Is this the first time you've quit?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I'd been saying for a while that when I was 40, I was going to knock it on the head anyway, but then I didn't. You know, so then
those meetings can be really helpful in those early days.
Yeah.
I went to AA and I found that at first I didn't like it. You know, I fucking hated it. In fact, the first one
Isn't it really like God oriented?
Well, it's not really. But it wasn't even that so much. That was an easy thing to pick on. But it wasn't so much that. It was just like people all being nice.
Fucking bastards.
And saying welcome and things like that.
Yeah. How are you?
But then
hello was the worst one.
But listening to people talk about it is actually I found it quite therapeutic. And also I've started meeting some cool rock stars like Ringo Starr and Eric Clapton, who were going to the place in Surrey near me, and they had a lot of good things to say, and it was and there was a lot good to get out of it. But I found it weird that, say, Clapton has been going for the last fucking 35 years or something, and he won't miss it. So if he's on tour, he'll locate in this little book where the meeting is in Cuba or fucking Antigua or wherever he plays, and he'll be religiously there like 3-4 times a week, whatever he's doing. And I guess it's replacing one obsessiveness with another, but I suppose the other one is less harmful than the days when he pushed his kid out the window. You know what I mean? No, that's a joke. If you're watching, Eric, didn't mean that. I know you didn't.
Cancel.
Got a good record out of it though. I've got friends that are still in AA who say, you should always still go. You should always still go. But I don't kind of need a religion with it. I'm sort of all right.
Yeah.
But they are. I do think it's really useful in the early days to go to those. If there's anyone listening out there who's struggling with drink,
yeah,
this is turning into a self-help. Anyway, it's been great talking to you. I think
likewise.
Covered quite a lot there. Actually, there's one thing: endorsements. Do you get endorsements, don't you? For
so it's Stag. Give me symbols, and then I got a deal with London Stick Company and Remo as well.
So how does that work? Do you just, whenever you want something, you ask for it?
Yeah, I just message my guy at the distributor, and he'll sort it out.
That's right.
And then I'm friends with the owner of the stick company, so yeah.
Can punk legends get endorsements, do you think?
Well, I mean, I set Danny from the Buzzcocks up with a symbol endorsement years ago.
All right. What about singers? How about singers?
Don't know. I mean, you wouldn't need symbols, would you? Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can probably get it. Yeah, look into it. That's ChatGPT.
Yes. do you use that?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Right. I don't even know how to set that up. What, did you just download it?
No, you just go on the website. But it's cool. I use it for just like, like if all kinds of shit really. Like if I want to make something to eat, but I don't know what to make,
right.
and I've only got a few ingredients, it'll tell me what I can make from those things.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
What's the best thing? Is that the best thing it does?
Well, there's loads. I mean, it's just like talking to a really educated person that sometimes gets things really wrong.
I want to get one of those. I want to make a dummy, like so it is like a person, and it's inside. I'll ask them what the fuck to do with my life.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a thing before, and it was like they got two AIs to debate each other on religion, and it was really fascinating to see. Yeah, it was quite interesting. I'll have to watch that again because I can't remember what exactly it said, but it was quite good.
Have you never ever had any like spooky experiences, ghostly type things?
I've never been a believer. I've never believed in anything supernatural. I've never.
Yeah, I know, but has there never been any incident that? How the fuck did that happen?
I mean,
a lot of people have had those sort of experiences.
But
it makes me question that a bit.
Yeah, but to me, it wasn't spooky because I don't believe in that realm. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like,
what would you require as evidence, say, that of the afterlife?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? So I don't know, because I'd be questioning my own mental state first, because there's more reasonable, logical answers to how you could have those experiences. Do you know what I mean? Like you can induce these things with drugs, these hallucinations and stuff. So for me, if I was to experience something like that, I'd firstly be thinking, have I been spiked? Do you know what I mean? Rather than, am I dead? Like, do you know what I mean?
I'll give you an example then. Do you know a band called Bad Nerves?
Yeah.
They're based. We played with them.
Chelmsford. Yeah.
Good band. Great band. And their bass player, John, he's into going around like old funeral parlors and like old graveyards and stuff like that, and recording stuff. And he's picked up these things. Have you heard of EVPs? EVP. It's his kind of recorder, empty room, and there's a voice there.
Yeah.
And he's had quite a few weird results, and I've done the same thing, and I had some weird results where. So, I mean, I know it's not you, so you don't have to believe me, but just say, for now, you believe me, that I'm in an empty room and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And when I listen back to the recording, I don't hear anything at the time, but when I listen back to the recording, I can hear a voice quite clearly saying my name and saying something random, perhaps. What would that be? What would you put that? Because I'm not saying that it is a ghost, right? Like it is.
Well, I would say
my rational mind can't make me think of something rational that I recorded.
Yeah, I mean, well, to me, it'd be like there's two scenarios, right? There's on the one hand that this realm for which we've got no evidence for actually exists, and its influence in the world around you in a way that you can detect, right? Or it's just a phenomenon that you're picking up on the pareidolia. It's like pareidolia, where you're hearing something that isn't necessarily what it is. Do you know what I mean?
If it's quite clear, if it's like a recorded voice almost.
Like hello Andy, let's go down the pub or something.
That's something maybe not quite as say half as clear as that.
Yeah, all right.
Then
I mean,
it does make you question it. I think it does make you question it, because
but I mean, if you do it often enough, you're still gonna hear these things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just noises at the end of the day, and sometimes you're gonna pick up on noises that sound like things that they're not.
But when you pick up a voice that sounds like a voice that it is, and if you heard it, you would say that it would be. I think it'd be difficult to say that's pareidolia, because then you'd be getting pareidolia too, wouldn't you? And so but then have you ever heard the things where they'll get like a sine wave and they'll play it and they'll like change the frequency
and muck about with the frequency, and then it'll just sound like a noise, right? But then they'll tell you a sentence, and then you hear it back, and then you can hear that sentence within that noise, and it's just a noise. Have you ever seen that?
I mean, I know that it's a weird area, and pareidolia definitely does exist, and people that get over enthusiastic about all of that. This is the afterlife, and start denoting kind of religious stuff to it. That's
the thing.
Very off-putting. But if it wasn't for those people, I think that other people would find it a lot more interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't get over this thing of like, what's the answer with the least amount of new assumptions? You know what I mean? It's like you've got there's a whole shitload of assumptions to assume that to accept the explanation that there's this supernatural thing going on, versus a much simpler explanation that doesn't require all that extra baggage.
But my mind makes me want to see, I don't want to know the whole thing, just how that happened, and then I can start thinking about anything else, but to have questions that seemingly can't be answered I think makes life quite interesting. And
definitely. But I've got no problem just saying, fuck it, I don't know.
Right. Sure. All right. Well, thanks a lot for having a chat today.
Yeah, no worries.
Really nice to meet you. Hopefully,
likewise.
Are you going to be? Do you play live at the moment?
I'm playing with Phantasmas, a Brazilian kind of punk band, and
when's the next date for that?
We're playing at the Underworld on 1st of June.
1st of June.
Yeah, with I call them Ratos de Porão, but how the fuck the other guys say it, I can say it's like
That's at the Underworld.
Yeah, it is. And then 1st of June, and then we've got some other shows, and then I'm playing with Anti-Nowhere League.
All right.
Yeah.
I did a gig with Animal out of Anti-Nowhere League. He compared at this gig that I was doing. He's quite a funny guy, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Yeah, he makes me laugh. Yeah.
he wouldn't have chucked you out for making a joke.
No, of course he wouldn't. It's funny though, because they got the song, I want to be like Charlie but right. So when I joined Anti-Nowhere League after that, everyone was like, I could see people going down the front of the stage and like filming me specifically when we were playing that song, right? But when I was in the subs, like we played a gig in Vienna, and we just right at the end of the gig, it was like the big burnout, all the big fills and everything and all that, and then like that, right? And fucking Charlie and Alvin lost their shit, going crazy at me, screaming at me, going like in the dressing room. We had this big bust up over it, and I was like, "What the fuck is the problem?" And they were going, "Oh, you think this is a joke band playing da, 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 da." And I was like, "What the fuck?" It didn't even cross my mind that was like a joke, right? So
they sound like a barrel of fucking laughs. The UK sound.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And Criminal Mind, who was supporting us, like we're in the corner, just like shell shocked and like laughing about it, sort of thing. But anyway, so then I started playing with Anti-Nowhere League, and we played that song. So at the end of the song, I go bah, 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 bah. And when we played Charlie's birthday at the Shepherd's Bush Empire, we were playing it, and I looked around and as if to kind of go, fire me now, motherfucker.
Have you seen them since?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Charlie and Yuko quite a lot. Right.
No hard feelings there.
No, not at all. No. But they came to see.
Did he apologise for it?
Charlie, I mean, he sort of asked me to play if I'd join again, and I said it wouldn't go. I didn't want to do it.
But didn't he have anything to say about all that?
Not really.
Was he kind of organised that, or was that more Alvin? Or what's the?
I don't know. I suspect Alvin, but I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
But I mean, my ears have certainly been burning a lot since then. Obviously they talk a lot of shit behind everyone's back.
That's the nature of bands, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has been great talking. And
likewise.
hopefully I'll see you at. I'll try and make it down to that Underworld.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah. All right, mate.
Have a good rest of the evening, and
you too.
take care.
Take
Thanks,
it easy, man. See ya. Bye.